Of course, there are some techniques which are very important to be applied in your class. One of them is a live mentor. Live mentors are the entrepreneurs and the people who are live representative of volunteer in entrepreneur education activity. They are people outside of the university. They are really good in the area, in the field. For example, we have the best doctor in the city, the good doctors in the city. We have the best businessman in the city. We have successful women entrepreneurs in the city. So we will invite them to the class and talk about their story. So they are not academicians, they are not working in the academic sector, but they are live mentors. They are successful in the field, and then you can invite them to your class and give them a lecture, give the student a lecture, and talk about their experience. Students, they love to have such people inside the class, because when you have people, outside and in the real business, in the real market, labor market, they come to your class, so they feel that it's real, and they feel that they will learn from them, and they will ask the question that goes around their mind: how they become the best doctor in the city, and how to get a job in the market, and what are the chances for us in the market. So they can ask so many questions, as many questions as they want. So this one is very important, inviting the live mentor into your class. In every field, we have live mentors. In sociology, we have live mentor. For example, you are inviting a sociologist, and she or he come to your class, and he will talk about the social problems, and what are the social problems, and what are the common social problems, and how they solve, how they come out with the solution for this problem. Maybe you as a teacher, because you are uh, you are focusing, and your main source is the books and the material that you have. That's not enough for the student, and that's not fun for the student. But once you're inviting a sociologist to the class, and she will talk about the real and the common problem, then the student, they get a lot from that lecture. So inviting live mentors to your class is one of the methods that you can apply in your class. Secondly, teacher entrepreneur meetup. This one is a good way to start cooperation, because you will know the entrepreneurs, and you will create a contact, and you will collaborate and cooperate together. So teacher entrepreneur meetup, instead of inviting them to your class, because sometimes people are busy. For example, you are a doctor, and you are busy to come to my class to give a lecture. Maybe you don't have a communication skill. Maybe you're shy to talk to people, or maybe you are too busy to come, because usually the entrepreneurs, they are busy. They are working. So maybe they are busy, they cannot come to your class. Instead of that, the teacher, you as a teacher, you go to them and ask them a couple of questions, a list of questions, and ask them to talk about their stories, how they become successful, how they start, what was the challenge, what was the problem, and how they get here. So you can ask them to talk about their stories, and then you will come back to the class, and you will discuss it with your student, and you will talk about the story, the cases, to your student. So in that case, it becomes authentic. Learning becomes authentic. Why? Because you met the real entrepreneurs, and they talked about their story, and now you are transferring the knowledge that you received from students into from the entrepreneurs into the students. So they will learn a lot from that cooperation and that meeting. Plus, maybe when you care about your student too much, then the entrepreneurs, maybe they open the way for your student also to find opportunity in the businesses. Because they see that you are caring about your student, and if you care about your student, that means you are a good teacher. You are a responsible person. So in that case, people loves you, and people are ready to give you enough time. Okay, so another method that we can apply in the class is teaching cafe. I have applied this one, and this one is the most fun one. It's really fun. Maybe you say, how come teaching cafe? Teaching cafe, you don't have your class inside the classroom. Instead of the classroom, you will take out your student to the coffee shop. Maybe you say, how come I take out my student to the coffee shop? And if you go to the coffee shop, then it will not be a class. It becomes like a dating. But no, so you can't take your student to the coffee shop, have a coffee, and discuss anything you want. So teaching is not only inside the class, but there are other methods like teaching cafe that helps students to develop their skills, like social skills. Maybe when we are inside the class, we think twice when we act. We don't show our personality. But once outside we meet each other all together, then we improve and develop the sense of belonging, the sense of community, cooperation, love. Love, not relationship love relationship. We love each other and we cooperate each other. Besides, if you are in the cafe, the student, they can have the coffee and then you can have a discussion. Usually in the morning, the coffee shops are empty. The coffee shop, they can even make a discount for you if there are 30 or 25 student customers. They can even discount for the student to come to the coffee shop. And it's morning, it's empty, nobody there, nobody disturbs you that time. And they can have their coffee and you can discuss and have some activity inside the coffee shop. With the coffee, they are drinking coffee and they are discussing about the subject. They are listening to the teacher. It's a time that the student will never forget, even after their graduation. They will never forget about that experience. Try it, and then you will see the reaction of the students. They love the class, they love the learning process, they love the university, and they love the teacher, everything. And with the relaxed mind, they become so relaxed. But if you are just within your class from the beginning to the end of the semester without going anywhere, and sometimes you are not even allowing them to have a coffee inside the class, then the university becomes like a phobia. That's why people, they don't like university. If not for marriage, many students, they drop out from university. So we don't have a marriage institution. University is not a marriage institution. It's a place where you can improve or develop student skills. But if you are just keeping your student inside within the class, then the student, they cannot have that motivation to develop their skills, their competencies. For that, teaching cafe may help you to reach to that point. Not only teaching cafe, take them to the garden. You have cafeteria, university cafeteria. Take them to the university cafeteria. Take them to the garden. I took them to the mountain. It was close to us. There was snowing, I took them outside. Everybody was outside playing with the snow, and I kept them inside the class. Then they were like, oh, everybody is playing outside while we are inside the class. The weather was good, so I took them to the field. We had a space, and there was a snow. We had a class there, and they love it. They will never forget about that moment. So they are human beings just like us. We keep them, we treat them like they are in captivity or like a ships, keeping them inside the class for the entire year. You don't have to talk, you don't have to speak, you don't have to drink inside the class. You have to sit, listen to me. This is captivity. This is not university. You need to imagine if you are there, how you feel. So you are not captive, in captivity. They are not in captivity. That's why they feel that university is like a prison. Yeah, it's like a prison. It's a prison. Universities with this framework, with this, the system that we are applying, it's a prison. It's not a university. So creativity doesn't come out in that environment. We have to make the environment fun for the student in order to develop their skills. So as I said, we have cafeteria, we have gardens, we have coffee shop outside university. You can have classes in different places, big hall, dormitory, and those stuff. Sometimes cinema, if you have dormitory, cinema, especially for the English specialization. Your specialization is in English or language, take them to the cinema, watch a movie, and later on ask them to summarize for the next day, next week. Give them assignment about the movie. They watch the movie, they love it, they love the subject, and they will learn. They also do the assignment. I still remember during my foundation program, we watched a movie, and I still remember we had fun. I still remember that moment. When I think about that university, I love it. I feel the sense of community. But now, many of your students, maybe they write bad on social media on Koya University. All other universities also. Students, they don't like the universities. Why? Because the universities are treating them like a prisoner, not like a respected student. So, as I said, teaching cafe is one of the effective methods that we can apply. Business tour is also important. We can take them to the business premises, to the factories, to the pharmacies, to the hospitals, tourist area, tourist destination, to wherever you find it important for the student. In different fields, you can take them to the business premises. Job shadow for teacher. This one, you are working one day, for example, you go to the company and you are working one day as a teacher shadow. So you are working in the company and then you observe the situation, and after that, then you go back to the school and you'll talk about the experience. For example, you have petroleum. If you want to talk about drilling, go to the company, to the field, work in the field for one day, and then come back to the school, to the university, and then explain it for the students. Then students, they can understand, they can have fun. You also understand about the subject. So that are all. We have so many other methods to be applied in that case, so many other techniques that we can apply in our class. Yeah, no nergala, of course, no nergala. So you can't take them to a place where there's no nergala. Nergala is not allowed, but coffee is allowed. So just having some informal conversation and some discussion about relating to the subject, they can do it.